Adventist gospel worker spoke to the congregation at this church. They only had 30 members in the church. And the Adventist message, it intrigued the members so much that they invited this Adventist speaker to come back 3 more times. And so this 30-member congregation, they got together after the 3rd meeting, and they decided that they were going to become Seventh-day Adventist Christians. So they sent Sonia, I'm going to call him Stephen. They sent Stephen to go to the town where these Adventists were to let them know that they wanted to get baptized. So all 30 members, after having studies, were baptized as Seventh-day Adventists. But still, Stephen, he wasn't believing, he wasn't convicted, although he was baptized. He was still thinking about this girl. And so he went on for 2 years like this, and he went off to school, and he had a real bad experience where he became very sick. And he was so sick that he couldn't get out the bed. And he said that he remembered that he was trying to fall on his knees and pray and ask this God to help him. He's calling on God now. So he called on God and he said a prayer, and he said, God, please help me. Help me with this sickness that I'm going through. So Stephen, he started hallucinating, and he went into a deep sleep. And in this sleep, he saw a hand, a bright light that just come out of the sky. And this bright light started from his foot, and it went over his whole body. And he said he remembered feeling a coolness over his body. And with that one experience, after he woke up, he really started becoming convicted, and he gave his life to God. And so he became a true Christian Seventh-day Adventist after that experience. And he made this his testimony, and he went out to different places, and he told them about this hand that came out from the sky and healed him, and they convicted him. Amen. Amen.
We all miss it when you don't get to do a mission story. That was fabulous. All right. Today I want to talk to you about some mistakes.
You?
Yeah.
And mistakes?
Yeah, me.
Y'all get the recorder ready. Oh, it's live.
All right. Sometimes we make mistakes. Fortunately, we have an instruction book that helps prevent us from making some of those mistakes. One of the things, I forgot to bring my Bible up here. Can't do that. Okay. All right, here's our instruction book. We have our instruction book. All right, go ahead and turn to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 1, right after Psalms. Got it? Not yet? Not yet, okay. When I was a little girl, one of my favorite things to do with my brother was build forts. We had some property in New Mexico, and we loved building forts. We'd take what Mama called the junk pile, and we'd drag it all over the field and build forts with it. It was awesome. She wasn't thrilled by this. Well, one day, my brother and I had an awesome idea. Our parents gave us one of those play centers, like kids have. And it had some bars. And we were too little, we couldn't do the bars. But we could climb up there and we could get on top of them. And we thought the thing to do would be to build a fort on top of the bars. it took us probably a couple of days to get it all up there. We hooked up the dog to some of the stuff and used the bars as a pulley to haul stuff up there. My brother is strong, and he was able to carry a bunch of stuff up there, and we built a fort on top of the bars. But before we could even play in it, guess who discovered the fort on top of the bars? Mama. Yes, Mama discovered that. And before we could even get up there to play with it, she and my dad went out there and took it all down. All our hard work. We were so aggravated. Later on, much later on, I think we could understand that being up there in a rickety fort that we built with the help of the dog was probably not particularly safe, but we were pretty annoyed at the time. So look here in Proverbs chapter 1, starting in verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother, for they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck. Sometimes the things that those who have charge over us do are not things that we appreciate. Like taking down that fort we've tried so hard to build. But God gives us people to take care of us in an instruction book so that we don't get hurt. And so we have to fear the Lord and have the beginning of wisdom, and that definitely starts with our parents to teach us the right thing to do. All right, it looks like we're about ready to go. Let's go ahead and have a closing prayer. David can start us Sabbath school. Dear Jesus, thank you for all that you do for us. Thank you for watching over us and giving us the instructions that we need. We love you, Lord. Amen.
You didn't let them in on what you was doing, and they didn't let you on what they was doing.
Good morning, little girls. Good morning, Sabbath school class. Happy Sabbath. You're right. Okay. We're in lesson 3 today. That they may all be one. Lesson 3. That they all may be one. Okay. Electra, would you mind reading our memory text for us? I did. Okay. Okay. That's an excerpt from John, just one verse. And there's a lot in that verse. There really is, talking. But before we unless you have something you want to bring out in it, okay, let's talk about it a little later. All right. All right. It's sort of a brief overview before we really get started. And what we're about to read is a prayer. And it's a prayer that Jesus prayed. So we'll see what